Imagine a generation facing profound social shifts, one that felt a powerful urge to shake things up and challenge the status quo. These young people, often referred to as the counterculture, expressed their dissent in incredibly creative and impactful ways. They weren't just making noise, they were orchestrating a symphony of change, hoping to tune the world to a different rhythm. Their methods were diverse and often visually striking, aiming to capture public attention and shift societal norms. Youth counterculture in the 1960s primarily protested through nonviolent direct action, large-scale demonstrations, symbolic acts of defiance, and the creation of alternative lifestyles. These approaches were a direct challenge to what they saw as the rigid conventions of mainstream society and government policies, particularly regarding civil rights and the Vietnam War. They sought to disrupt the comfortable routines of daily life and force a confrontation with issues they felt were being ignored, using their collective voice and presence to demand change. The why behind these protest methods stemmed from a deep-seated rejection of established authority and a strong moral conviction against perceived injustices. Many young people felt alienated by a society that preached peace while engaging in war, or equality while maintaining segregation. Nonviolent direct action, inspired by the civil rights movement, aimed to expose the inherent violence of the system by contrasting it with their own peaceful resilience. The sheer numbers at demonstrations amplified their message, making it impossible to ignore the growing dissatisfaction within a significant portion of the population. Practically, these protests manifested in several key ways. Students organized sit-ins at segregated lunch counters and university administration buildings, effectively disrupting operations and demanding integration or policy changes. Marches, like the iconic March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, drew hundreds of thousands, showcasing a unified front for civil rights and later against the Vietnam War. Burning draft cards became a powerful symbolic act of resistance against military conscription, while teach-ins on college campuses transformed traditional education into forums for critical discussion about political and social issues. They learned to leverage media attention, understanding that visibility was crucial for spreading their message. An interesting nuance of the counterculture was their embrace of flower power, a term symbolizing passive resistance and nonviolence. While not a direct protest tactic in itself, it underscored the belief that beauty and peace could disarm aggression. Another key concept was the idea of dropping out, not as an act of surrender, but as a conscious rejection of consumerism and a move towards communal living and self-sufficiency, creating parallel societies that embodied their ideals rather than just criticizing existing ones. This was more than just opposition. It was a proposition for a different way of living and interacting. Ultimately, the youth counterculture's protest methods fostered an environment where critical questioning became commonplace, pushing society to reevaluate deeply ingrained beliefs and practices. By combining direct action with powerful symbolism and alternative ways of living, they carved out spaces for expression and dissent that continue to influence how social movements advocate for change today. Their efforts not only highlighted specific grievances, but also championed a broader ethos of individual freedom, peace, and social justice, leaving an undeniable and lasting impact on the fabric of modern society.